What it do, YouTube? This your boy, Pound for Pound Boxing Real News. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you want to be notified. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at P for P Boxing Real News. So what's going on, man? It's looking like the Shakur Stevenson Oscar Valdez fight is being finalized from reports of um, Mike Coppinger and ESPN. Right? They saying that that's a fight that Bob Arum wanted to make. Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez are in the process of finalizing a deal for the 130-pound title unification April 30th in Las Vegas. Okay, and that's what he said. Sources told ESPN on Sunday. Then Shakur Stevenson tweeted out, oh, y'all snitching. You know what I'm saying? So this is probably in the works for sure. Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, in the spring. Now this will be a great fight, a great fight for both fighters, right? This is a fight that at 130, was a fight that should be made. Okay, this is a good fight. I'm sure everybody wants to see this. Oscar Valdez holds the WBC title, coming off of a victory, very scandalous victory, I would say, after testing positive for PED substance, but it was deemed um, very minute, so it really wasn't nothing to affect the fight. And the fight went on. Fought Robert Conceicao, and very close fight. A lot of people think that Oscar Valdez lost that fight. It could have gone either way, and it just went Valdez's way. But before that, he had a great fight with Miguel Berchelt, a guy that he's been wanting to fight for a long time. He wanted that fight for a very long time, and so did Miguel Berchelt. The fight went down, and it was a stunning victory for Oscar Valdez. Probably going to be the most notable victory of his career, unless he gets past Shakur Stevenson, of course. What's going on, Johnny Blaze? Appreciate y'all being here, man. Sergeant, what's going on, man? It's been a while. But what y'all think about the Oscar Valdez Shakur Stevenson fight? What do you guys think that how's that fight about it being finalized and finally getting made? You know what I'm saying? There was talks that Oscar Valdez was gonna be fighting Navarrete. You know what I'm saying? There was talks about that Oscar Valdez was gonna be fighting Navarrete, and that would have been also a great fight. But Navarrete would have been coming up, and it was a good fight though. You know what I'm saying? Especially for Navarrete. But I guess they pumped the brakes on that, and now they got Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, and that's probably gonna be the next fight, and I'm excited for it, man. They saying April 20th, so we gonna get that in the spring. But that's definitely a very exciting fight to watch. I think it's a good fight for both fighters. Hell yeah. We need this fight to happen, bro. Yeah, man, for sure. Definitely. I feel like, man, this fight right here, that's gonna be a banger. You know what I'm saying? We know Shakur Stevenson's more of a defensive fighter. You know what I'm saying? He has very good footwork, very disciplined fighter. Doesn't like to get hit. That's one of the things that could, he's going to be on the back foot a lot because Oscar Valdez is a pressure fighter, but Oscar Valdez is also a boxer, very well-educated boxer as well. So he could play his game as well. You know what I'm saying? So this is why this fight right here needs to be made, and we need to see this fight because it's gonna be one of those fights where we're going to see adversity, especially from a young up-and-coming fighter like Shakur Stevenson. He's going to have to face adversity versus Oscar Valdez. There's no ifs, ands, or but about it, right? Oscar Valdez will also have to face some adversity from Shakur Stevenson, being that Shakur Stevenson is a very defensive fighter, and he does not like to really get hit, so he will be on the back foot. Now, how can Oscar Valdez cut off the ring very effectively to neutralize whatever Shakur Stevenson is going to do? It's definitely going to be a chess match. It's going to be a fight that, I mean, it's going to be crazy. Is Shakur Stevenson going to come out and try to bang with Oscar Valdez, right? That was one of the biggest things from Shakur Stevenson. If you saw the fight when he fought, what was his name, Nakatalia, you saw a Shakur Stevenson that once he felt Nakatalia's power, he said, I don't want nothing that this dude is bringing to the table. I'm going to outbox this guy. I'm going to be on my back foot. And if this guy can't do nothing, then I'm just going to outbox him and outpoint him. And that's exactly what he went in there to do. Now, granted, a lot of people were saying that, yeah, boy, Shakur Stevenson is not dumb. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to make it easy for himself to get a title shot against Jamel Herring, which actually did play out. He fought Jamel Herring, and once he fought Jamel Herring, he came out and he was the aggressor. He was very aggressive, and you could tell that Shakur Stevenson, it was a different look. You know what I'm saying? It's especially what people are used to from Shakur Stevenson being more of a cautious fighter. In this fight, he actually came out and he banged with Jamel Herring and got way better than, got the best of him. You know what I'm saying? Jamel Herring, which is a really good fighter at 130. Jamel Herring had come off of a tremendous win over Carl Frampton at 130. You know what I'm saying? So Jamel Herring, a lot of people were picking Jamel Herring to win as well, right? Because they felt the experience of Jamel Herring, the adversity that he's already been through in the ring. So that's why a lot of people felt comfortable picking Jamel Herring over Shakur Stevenson, an unexperienced, kind of a cocky guy. You know what I'm saying? That we really haven't seen too much of him, and a lot of people don't believe too much in his skill. But once he came out and fought Jamel Herring, it was a totally different fighter. It was a fighter that, he wasn't scared of nothing like that. He wasn't scared of the power. He wasn't scared of anything. He was there, and he was there to win. He had one thing on his mind, was to get a belt, and he got it. You know what I'm saying? So congrats. So that was a really good victory under his belt. You know what I'm saying? Now he'll be facing the WBC champion at 130, Oscar Valdez, which is gonna be fireworks. So this is gonna be a tremendous fight. If Valdez is focused and smart like the Burchelt fight, I see him knocking out Stevenson. Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, there's no saying that Valdez can't beat Shakur Stevenson, because I for sure think that Oscar Valdez could beat Shakur Stevenson, because really we have seen Shakur Stevenson go through some adversity, especially fighting Jamel Herring, right? But we don't know. Oscar Valdez brings a lot to the table, and he's more skilled than Jamel Herring. You know what I'm saying? So this could be either it's a sink or swim situation, especially for Shakur Stevenson. I mean, Oscar Valdez, he's already accomplished a lot in the sport, and so says, here at my second job, I'll be listening in, pound for pound. Hey, appreciate it, bro. I'm going one, man. My boy got 3 jobs, bro. Respect. That's what's up, bro. But if we get the Valdez that plots and keeps head hunting with the left hook and lunges in, I see Shakur unanimous decision. Yeah. So it depends on what Valdez we're gonna get. And that's one thing that I know that we should get is a very educated Valdez when he fights Shakur Stevenson. I know I understand the Robert Constantine fight. Everybody was like kind of taken back from that fight. The reason why they were taken back from that fight was because they felt that Oscar Valdez should have really won that fight easier than how he won it, right? It was questionable. A lot of people were questioning it. So a lot of people felt like Oscar Valdez should have won that fight easier than what it was. You know what I'm saying? But you got to also take this in count. Robert Conceição, he's a Brazilian fighter, the Olympian. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't no easy task. And this is a fighter. You know what I'm saying? He came out, he fought, but obviously they gave the fight to Oscar Valdez. Robertson is a much bigger fighter that gave Valdez problems. Shakur is a bit more his size. Shakur better be ready because he might lose that. Oh, yeah, definitely, bro. And testing it, this is gonna be the ultimate test, right? This is gonna be the fight that puts Shakur Stevenson inside of the top 10 pound for pound list, right? This is the fight right here. He beats Oscar Valdez. He hits the pound for pound list, right? Maybe number 9, number 10, whatever, but he's not on the list. And from there, he has a bright future from there. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I'm excited though, because if we get in this fight, boxing is getting very exciting, and that's gonna be a great fight. What's going on, Puro Su Centro? What's good, bro? What's good? I got Valdez in 9. It's gonna be a tough fight, dog. It's gonna be a tough fight. We know what Shakur Stevenson brings to the table, and we know what Oscar Valdez brings to the table. We've seen flaws in Shakur Stevenson, and we've seen flaws in Oscar Valdez. And very recent in time, right? The Nakatalia fight, like you could point out the Shakur Stevenson fight, right? Shakur Stevenson, when he fought Nakatalia, you can point out a lot of flaws in Shakur Stevenson. Like, oh man, he really doesn't have too much heart, this and that. If you look at Robert Conceição, Oscar Valdez, you can point out a lot of flaws in Oscar Valdez's, right? But if you look at Miguel Berchel, Oscar Valdez, you're like, this is where he's at his ultimate high. When you look at Shakur Stevenson, Jamel Herring, this is where he's at his ultimate high. So it's gonna be a clash of. It's gonna be great. Like it's greatness. That this fight is just. It's gonna be an amazing fight. I could definitely say that. Like I'm not even picking nobody. Because I feel like this fight right here, when it's that 50-50 type of fight, I ain't picking nobody. Fuck that. Because of the fact that it's a good ass fight. I just want to see it. I want to enjoy it. I just want to enjoy that fight. It's gonna be a great fight. I think it's hard to call because they're both not consistent. Exactly. So that's the thing that I see. They have the inconsistencies in the ring, but when it's time to shine, they shine, right? Because the two guys that you could see the flaws in were, kind of like less skilled fighters. You know what I'm saying? They were kind of less skilled fighters than them, which we felt that they should have beat them easy. You know what I'm saying? And then once they fought their toughest competition to date, they shined. You know what I'm saying? They showed everybody that, yo, I'm the best here. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I'm excited. Valdez needs to hit the body because Shakur showed he's weak to the body when he fought Herring. Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of strategy. Eddie Reynoso, I'm sure he's gonna bring his A game. Y'all know Eddie Reynoso, trainer of the year. You know what I'm saying? And he has Canelo Alvarez, the king of the body shot. You know what I'm saying? He has the king of the body shot. So Oscar Valdez, I'm sure he will be any little flaw that they see in Shakur Stevenson's game, they gonna bring that out. You know what I'm saying? So Shakur Stevenson, his defensively, Shakur Stevenson will have to be defensively sound and very effective, right? Because we know that Oscar Valdez, one thing that Oscar Valdez has but doesn't utilize too much is his defensiveness, bro. And that's one thing that kind of blows me about Valdez sometimes. All right, bet. Appreciate you coming through, Poodle. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate the view. Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm excited for that fight. I'm excited for that fight. It's gonna be a great one. Did y'all get the upset Joe Smith Jr.? Not this guy. We know that protocol, whatever. But did y'all get a chance to catch Joe Smith Jr. versus what was his name? Giraffe? Man, that dude. Honestly, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Man, he was the competition, but that dude, he just kept his hands. He didn't win. He was taking a beat from the right side. Kind of on probably like, I think it was in the middle of the fight or something like that. But Valdez slips, ducks, and catches punches. Bruh. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know, Johnny Blaze. Appreciate that, man, because I don't know why. It's probably the Wi-Fi, man. The Wi-Fi, I don't get it too good outside out here. But is it a little bit better? But yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited though, man. I'm excited for these fights. Wi-Fi. Yeah. All right. I think y'all can hear me better. I took the Wi-Fi off. Smith has terrible game plans with he tried to outbox a boxer back to back. Yeah, man. It's like, yo, he's good, but I mean, dog, we know his game. I don't know if he's trying to like try new things, especially because he was fighting lesser competition. So I don't know if his thing was, oh, I'm gonna try to fight, try to outbox him, try to like basically a sparring session or something like that. I don't know what it is though. We know this dude got power. We know you can get this dude out. You know what I'm saying? But I guess it's the competition though. You ain't get no. They didn't really know what to expect. This guy was like a late replacement. You know what I mean? After the dude tested positive and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things that go on. You don't really know how this guy fights, this and that. And plus, this guy's letting you punch him. He was a punching bag. So hey, yeah, caught the Joe Smith fight. He's slow, only has a powerful right hand, and he cannot beat Canelo or any elite at 175. Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for him. You know what I'm saying? He gets in there. I don't know. I don't even know where I heard this or something. I think him and Bivol, they fought in the amateurs or something like that. I'm not too sure. I can't really speak on that too much. But I feel like they fought in the amateurs or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, maybe you guys know. But you know, once he fights like Bivol, Arthur Betterbeef, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be tough. I mean, Canelo, we know what's gonna happen if he fights Canelo, but you know, even if he fights Betterbeef, or when he fought Bivol, didn't he fight Bivol already or something like that? He can if he uses what he has. Yeah. Okay, Bivol easily beat him in the pros. Okay, so it was in the pros. Yeah, so I mean, look, man, Canelo, his next fight, if it's not against the dude Macabu, um, who do you guys want him to fight, man? What's the next opponent for Canelo Alvarez on May? Um, oh, but he almost knocked out Bivol late. True, he did have a mean left to the body. Okay, yeah. So I mean, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know, Bivol is good though. Bivol is good, but he just doesn't execute, man. Like it's like the thing is, y'all saw Bivol's last fight. His problem is that he does not execute. Like he's just there. You know what I'm saying? He's going through the motions. He's outboxing this guy, obviously. You know what I'm saying? He's outboxing him, but it feels like he goes through the motions. That's what I feel like he does. I feel he goes through the motions and he doesn't really try to get him out of there. You know what I'm saying? This is a guy that doesn't even belong in the ring with you. Why is this guy still in the ring with you? You see what I'm saying? And I don't get that at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't get why Bivol doesn't. He doesn't really care. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the broadcast, they were saying, that Dimitri Bivol, he really doesn't care what people say, that he doesn't get them out of there and stuff like that. He doesn't really care. He just goes in there, gets the job done, and he goes on home. He doesn't really care about our opinion. You know what I'm saying? But on our opinion on trying to get these dudes the fuck up out of there. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, dude, these dudes don't even belong in the ring with you. You know what I'm saying? These guys that nobody knows these guys. You know what I'm saying? So he has to do better. But I mean, look, I would want Canelo Alvarez versus Arthur Beterbiev or Dimitri Bivol next. That would be great. You know what I'm saying? That sets up Canelo still doesn't, even if he pushes the cruiserweight fight to later on in the year, let's get Arthur Beterbiev out the way. Let's get a Dimitri Bivol out the way. Oh shit. Okay. So Bivol declined. Wait, you said IMO, in my opinion, right? Y'all told me last time what it meant, right? IMO, in my opinion. I need to learn the abbreviations. Yo, man, but I don't know what's going to happen, but let's get that Arthur Beterbiev fight, dog. That's the fight that I want to see. I want to see Canelo Alvarez, Arthur Beterbiev. Let's go 175 and get all the belts. I pray, because Mike Carpenter. I think Mike Carpenter came out talking about some. My opinion. Yeah, bro. I be forgetting. What's it called? Mike Carpenter came out talking about some. Dog, this dude right after the fucking fight, though. Right after the Caleb Plant fight, talking about, yeah, I want to see him fight Triple G. Nobody wants to see him fight Triple G, bro. That's not a fight that's on my watch list. That's not a fight that I care about. I'm done and through with that Triple G saga. I don't want to see a trilogy. I don't want to see anything else about Triple G Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion. IMO. You feel me? I don't want to see those fights. That fight doesn't interest me anymore. Triple G really didn't do anything after that to even put himself in a conversation to fight this guy. Plus he's fighting Murata probably in the springtime when Japan lets them go back or something like that. But I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that fight. You know what I'm saying? Would I watch it? I mean, I would watch it, but I'm not a fan of that fight. Not a fight that I'm intrigued in watching. Like, not a huge fan of that fight. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully it's not Triple G, and we could watch maybe something way better than that, like Canelo Alvarez, Arthur Beterbiev, Canelo Alvarez, what's his name, Dimitri Bivol. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Jamal Charlo. You know, there was rumors that he was gonna be fighting Jamal Charlo, but I don't know how real those rumors are. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know how real those rumors are in saying that Canelo might be fighting Jamal Charlo, but that would be a good fight too, just to show people and show these guys that, man, like, it's tougher when you know what I'm saying. But I feel like Jamal Charlo, he knows that already, right? I feel like he already knows that he's just gonna be there for a check. It's gonna be a really hefty, nice check and all that. But I feel like he already knows that, and they're already defeated even before getting into the ring, right? Caleb Plant, he believed in himself. I'll give him that. You know what I mean? Because as a fighter, you have to believe in yourself. But at the back of his mind, I know he knew once he got slapped in that press conference, he already had lost that fight. You know what I'm saying? He came out, he was putting on a good performance, you know what I'm saying? Very respectable performance up until the 11th round where he got a little careless and got caught. You know what I'm saying? But it's tough, you know what I'm saying? When you got a guy that's coming and he's applying pressure and fucking your body up. You see what I'm saying? it's tough. You see, that's what that is very tough because that's what Canelo does. He'll pressure you, but he's going to your body the whole time, just breaking you down, breaking you down, breaking you down. Because guess what? You're gonna drop your hands because you're not gonna want to feel that to your body anymore. You know what I'm saying? When imagine you getting hit to your body, right? You're getting hit to your body, and every time you're getting hit to your body, it's just stinging you more, hurting you more, hurting you more. Your ribs start breaking, whatever, and then and then you every time you see him about to hit you with a mean ass body shot, you try to go down, you drop in your hands, but he already in his head he already knows you already hurt. You know what I'm saying? You hurt to the body. You going to defend the shit out your body now, and that's where your head opens up. Once he got, bruh, it was like that little video where it'd be like once he got slapped, they'll freeze it right there when he gets slapped, and it'll say, and this is the moment when you know he fucked up. When once he pushed Canelo, they stopped that joint in frames. They said, and this was the moment he knew he fucked up. And then they showed Canelo, bah, man. But once he felt that, he said, man, this is done. This is over with. He told Jordan, he said, look, man, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna try my best, but best believe it's not gonna be easy out there. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? But he came out, fought a very respectable fight, and he gave it he put his heart in it. You know what I'm saying? Put his heart in it. And then he wants Jamal Charlo. He was calling Jamal Charlo out, this and that. He's calling Jamal Charlo out. But Jamal Charlo don't want no smoke with none of those guys, man. He don't want no smoke with none of those guys. It don't matter who it is. You know what I'm saying? He don't want no smoke at 168. Shit, he barely wants smoke at 160 in his real division. You don't want no smoke with none of those guys, bro. You know, it's gonna be a massacre. He goes up there and fight any of those guys, right? Fights any of those guys, he's gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I'm not as confident in him as other people are. I'm just not, right? Jamel Charlo, yes, I'm more confident in Jamel Charlo because we've seen him go through adversity. We've seen him do. He's fought great fights. You know what I mean? And at 154, I've never complained about anybody at 154. All them dudes fight each other. You know, and that's one of the, for real, in reality, that's one of the best divisions because we're getting a lot of fights in. Even though I mean they're kind of. This was a little bit back then, but we were getting a lot of fights in that division. You know what I'm saying? And then now we got the Towering Inferno in there. You know what I mean? The 6'7" Tower. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker tall as shit at 154. And he's fighting. Who's he fighting, man? Who's he fighting? Because they say he's fighting somebody. I can't remember who he fighting. He's fighting Erickson Lubin. That's a good ass fight. A really good fight, dog. You know what I mean? That's a good fight right there, you know? So, and Erickson Lubin beat Jason Rosario. So those guys are fighting each other at 154. Plus, we're going to get the undisputed fight again after the draw. You know, Jamel Charlo, Brian Castano, and let the better man win, dog, because it's crazy. The giant who thinks he's 5'8". Hey, bro, that man is huge, bro. Why is he that tall? Like, bro, you would think he balls. You know what I'm saying? You would think he balls. But he don't ball. He fight. This motherfucker said, fuck that, I want box. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be the Towering Inferno at 154. Jesus Christ, bro. You supposed to be a heavyweight basically, but he's slinky like shit though. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's not like built type shit. He more just tall, lanky as fuck for no reason. Tall as shit for no reason, bro. Should have been in the NBA or something.
for no reason. But I mean, he fighting and doing his thing. But I want to get into, man, I want to get into this right here. I want to get into George Kambosas and Devin Haney. A lot of people been reporting, saying that this fight is gonna happen, this and that, um, and it looks like it will. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. They've been tweeting back and forth. Devin Haney came out. He said, George Kambosas, we making this fight happen or what? I'm agreeing to all your terms, whether it's the vaccine or the travel, or the travel. It's starting to look like some ducking going on. And he tagged Eddie Hearn in that. That's what Devin Haney tagged. Um, so Devin Haney's over here insinuating that George Kambosas is ducking, right? That he's ducking. Well, George Kambosas comes back via Twitter, right, and says, I love how you manipulate and lie to your fans. Talk a big game, but show no action. A bit like your fights. I'm patiently waiting with all my belts for the offer from your boss, Mr. Eddie Hearn, because I got a stadium ready in Australia. But I can see the excuses already. Already. So my question is, like, George Kambosas, this is one thing that I've always said, man, about Devin Haney and them and his peoples, man. Like, they come on and they lie a lot, right? They lie a lot. Um, and they've been caught multiple times doing this. You know what I'm saying? They did the same thing with Teofimo Lopez, trying to call him a duck and this and that because they wanted to get they were he was supposedly ducking them, but in reality, dog, you didn't want to fight him. You just wanted to attach your name to him so that you could stay relevant inside of the division. Because guess what? At the end of the day, he shows to be a self-promoter. What do you have to do when you self-promote? You have to promote yourself, whether good or bad, right? As long as your name is people's mouths, that's all that matters, right? Doesn't matter if you get the fight or you don't. I'm sure if they're like, man, fuck that, whatever, I'm sure that the fight will happen, but it's not by their demand or by what they want. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem with Devin Haney and this and that. They always lying. And that's a problem, man. Because here in this statement here, Devin Haney publicly via Twitter states that he says, George Kambosas, we making this fight happen or what? I'm agreeing to all of your terms, whether it's a vaccine or the travel. It's starting to look like you're ducking. It like there's ducking going on. He said they're talking too much. Devin, the Pride champion. Yeah, man. And then Kambosas says, I love how you manipulate and lie, which is something that everybody's always gotten on Devin Haney and his cat about, right? That's something that they've like people always call them out on that same thing, that they try to manipulate and lie to the fans. You know what I mean? Try to play them like dummies. He says talk a big game but show no action. A bit like your fight. So he threw a little jab in there. He said like it's like a bit like your fights. You talk a lot, but you really don't show much. You know what I'm saying? When you in the ring, a bit like your fights. He says, I'm patiently waiting with all my belts for the offer from your boss. So another jab was thrown in there from George Kambosas to Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Because Devin Haney, he prides himself as the Pride champion he prides himself on saying that he's his own boss, that he doesn't have boss rules or whatever. You know what I mean? So he prides himself off of that. So, George Kambosas is like, I'm here waiting with my belts and we're waiting for an offer from your boss. You know what I'm saying? And he put all caps, your boss. You feel me? Because I got a stadium ready in Australia, but I can see the excuses already. So he's saying that he already got the stadium ready and everything. He's in there cleaning up the stadium right now with a toothbrush, waiting for Devin Haney to send the offer, and Devin Haney hasn't sent no offer, right? Well, I guess the boss, Eddie Hearn, hasn't sent the offer over, right? So what's going on here? I don't know, right? I don't really know. But he also said, he says, I'm not here for the Twitter fights like most of these cats. I'm here for real fights. To be honest, you got to give respect to myself, to T.O., and Loma. Out of the one Emperor, 4 Kings, and Matrix, we 3 stepped up and fought, while the others fought on Twitter, just stating facts. Now, you tell me who ducks. You know what I'm saying? So George Kambosas, he's saying, man, you gotta, to be honest, y'all gotta give us some respect. And when he says you gotta give us some respect, he's talking about him, Teofimo Lopez, and Vasily Lomachenko. And he says the reason why is because out of one Emperor, 4 Kings, and the Matrix, only 3 stepped up and fought. See what I'm saying? Which is a real fact. I mean, other than that, everybody else, like he said, is fighting on Twitter. You feel me? And that's 100% the truth. Everybody else is on Twitter fighting, right? We've gotten Twitter fights from Gervonta Tank Davis. We've gotten Twitter fights from Ryan Garcia. We've gotten Twitter fights from Devin Haney. These guys, you know, they utilize social media very well, right? They utilize it very well because they have fans. Okay, they have fans behind them, right? So their fans are gonna believe whatever you put out there. If you say, yo, this guy is ducking me, what the fuck? You know what I mean? The fans will believe that, right? Because that's exactly what you're intending to do, is to manipulate your fan base. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. I mean, that's a fighter, right? And a lot of people very gullible. They don't really care too much and don't really care about their character, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They just like, oh shit, this dude's ducking this guy, right? So that's how they feel. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Devin Haney, I feel, does a lot. I feel like he manipulates his fan base, and I feel like he lies to his fan base a lot, right? Because we've caught him a lot of times. A lot of times he always saying this, this, and that. But I feel like every time he doesn't talk, you know what I'm saying? It's like, dog, you don't really want the fight. You're just talking that you want the fight just so that your fans will be like, oh, yeah, he wants to fight this and that. Oh, he's ducking. He's getting ducked. He's getting ducked. You know what I'm saying? Keeping your name in your people's mouths, staying relevant. And it's a key to success for real. You know what I mean? Because people love the drama shows, the negativity. You feel me? That's the number one thing in any, I think, any sport, right? Any sport, the negativity is better. It's like the lie is better than the truth, right? If you hear a lie, okay, if this dude does this, well, nobody's gonna, and then they exonerate him, this and that. They exonerate him, say that, oh no, never mind, oh, it wasn't him. Well, the lie is better than the truth. They're always gonna believe the lie. Doesn't matter what the truth is, right? They don't care about the truth. But the lie is way more juicy than whatever the fuck the truth was. Oh, he committed murder. Oh, he's a fucking murderer, this and that. He's a murderer, blah, 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 blah. Oh, sorry, we got the wrong man, this and that. He's still a fucking murderer. Fuck him. You know, and they came out already and said that he you know what I'm saying, he ain't even commit the murder and shit. He's still a murderer. You know what I mean? That's how they look at shit. But the lie is always better than the truth. People believe the lies before they more than they believe the truth. You know what I mean? So that's how things go, man. That's how things go in society itself, right? That's just things how it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because most people love negativity instead of positivity. And that's why you gotta, man, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? It's a new year, 2022. Practice being optimistic and being positive in life. Because that's also a key to success, right? Being a positive person and being more optimistic. Okay. It says Devin, Ryan, and Tank need to fight. They're all talk. They're all talk, man. You know what I'm saying? They're not fighting each other. You know, and I'm possibly they all do want George Kambosas, and I feel like they all should want George Kambosas. We know that George Kambosas, he's gonna lose those belts as soon as he fights whoever the fuck he fights. It doesn't matter who he fights. He's gonna lose those belts. Simple as that. You know what I mean? He's not as skilled. I mean, everybody from 122 to 140 was calling George Kambosas out after he beat Tio. Before that, Teofimo Lopez wasn't nobody calling him out. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that Rayo Valenzuela came out and said as well. He said, man, look, it's funny because now that he's like, I don't even like Tio. But now that George Kambosas won this fight, everybody wants to get a fight with George Kambosas. But when Tio had the belts, ain't nobody want no parts of that. You know what I mean? So I think it's funny. You know what I mean? And that's a guy that doesn't even like Teofimo Lopez. And he was saying that, right? So, you know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. This shit is crazy. Um, Now what are we gonna get this fight, right? So it's not being finalized, obviously. You know what I'm saying? It's not being finalized. It's not being, there's no, I guess there's not even no talks, no, maybe some talks through a phone or something because they are in Australia, but there's no offer on the table, right? And this was as of yesterday. So I'm pretty sure that nobody sent them an offer yet. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe the WBO might mandate Lomachenko to fight George Kambosas, and maybe we will be seeing George Kambosas versus Vasily Lomachenko, right? I don't really. I'm like, man, you know, I've said it before. I think Devin Haney does deserve the opportunity to fight George Kambosas Jr. You know what I'm saying? Because he has defended that his belt a couple times already, or like three times already, beating, you know, Jorge Linares, beating Jojo Diaz. So I mean, those, you could say that those are very credible fights, right? Those are credible fights, especially to get a shot at all the belts. You know what I'm saying? Vasily Lomachenko, I wouldn't mind it as well. The reason why I wouldn't mind Vasily Lomachenko getting a shot is because Vasily Lomachenko was a guy that, you know, he went and fought Nakatani, went and fought Richard Comey. So he did whatever the undisputed champ came back and did. He doubled back on his victories. So very worthy opponents, right? Tank Davis, I mean, him getting a George Kambosas fight is like more of everything just felt on his lap. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really earn the shot to fight George Kambosas, beating guys that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people don't feel were like top tier competition. They were more cherry picks than victories, honestly. And almost getting beat. Well, getting beat in all of those fights up until a knockout. In his last fight, arguably a lot of people felt like he lost that fight. A draw would have been perfect, but I don't see how they gave it to Tank. But hey, it's boxing. You see what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia definitely doesn't deserve a shot. I mean, one of the reasons why he hasn't fought since January of last year. Second is he really hasn't fought top competition. Nothing really credible there. Um, you know, he did fight Luke Campbell. That was a very good win. He does get the credit for that victory. You know what I'm saying? But inactivity, being out of the ring and not fighting, kind of hurt him for sure. You know, saying that he had mental health issues. So he was out of the ring for a while. Did not fight. Pulled out of 2 fights, I believe. Javier Fortuna and Jojo Diaz, from my recollection. Did say he wanted Tank Davis. Then stopped that by saying that Manny Pacquiao did want the fight, but then wanted Tank Davis again. Tank Davis comes out and says, well, I'm not giving you the fight anymore. You fucked it up, or some shit like that, right? Ryan Garcia then after he was gonna fight Jojo Diaz, but then broke his hand. He's back out of the ring, and he still doesn't have a dancing partner for any time soon, right? I don't feel like he will. But for George Kambosas, that would probably be the easier route to take, right? Instead of fighting somebody that can knock your ass out with one punch, like Gervonta Tank Davis, maybe you'll be beating him, but you might get comfortable and get caught. Like most of his opponents that get very comfortable, they're like, oh, this guy he's not really that good. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden they get caught and it's over and it's lights out, right? Or Devin Haney, which is somebody that's very defensively sound, will be on the back foot most of the fight. Um, and you have to be chasing, trying to pressure him, be more effective than him, and things like that. He has a really good jab and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And then Lomachenko, which is somebody that's very versatile. They call him the Matrix for a reason. Somebody that can pick you apart. You know what I'm saying? He could pick you apart and make you look goofy in the ring, right? Like if you just started boxing yesterday, you know what I'm saying? Made a lot of world champions, former world champions also look like that as well. You feel me? But Ryan Garcia now would be the easier opponent for George Kambosas Jr. You know what I'm saying? So if George Kambosas Jr. is trying to look to make the easier fight, but I still think Ryan Garcia gets the best of George Kambosas. I just feel like for George Kambosas, in his mind, he's like, well, Ryan Garcia, he does have this many followers, he does have that and this and that, but he's not the greatest. But Ryan Garcia is in talks, I'm guessing, with Isaac the Pitbull Cruz. So that's a fight that Ryan Garcia says he really, really wants. But let's see what happens though. Let's see what happens. Let's see what goes on. Um, Boxing is gonna hopefully it starts picking up after this week. I'm hoping that it really does pick up. I think this upcoming fight, Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magasayo should be a great fight. Something definitely you definitely want to be tuned in and watching this fight. It's gonna be a great fight. Fireworks from both fighters. You know what I'm saying? Gary Russell coming back. Um, going through a lot of personal problems, and Mark Magasayo, up and coming fighter, out of Mayweather's promotion. You know what I'm saying? I mean Mayweather promotions. I mean Manny Pacquiao promotions. A Filipino with a lot of heart, and Gary Russell Jr. of course has a lot of heart, man. World champion. Should be a great fight. It's gonna be a banger for sure. What else? Um, Yeah, man. I think we basically covered it though, man. Hopefully this Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson fight gets finalized. We get that fight April 20th. Definitely stay tuned. That's gonna be an amazing fight. A fight you definitely don't want to miss out. We'll definitely be covering that fight as soon as it's finalized and things start rolling. You know what I'm saying? But that's a great fight. I feel like both fighters will be going through adversity, and who can overcome that adversity inside of the ring is definitely the answer. I mean, the question, right? Who's gonna be the guy that's in there and he's giving his heart? Who's going to train? Who trained harder? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a question of many things. But only one guy could win. Or maybe both guys could win. You know what I'm saying? With a draw. But it should be a great one. An up and coming fighter and an established fighter. Oscar Valdez being an established fighter, having a monumental victory over Miguel Berchelt, then having a controversial victory over Robert Conceição, and we'll be able to see him back in the ring. Shakur Stevenson, showing us his, you know, some of his very like defensive, more cautiousness and stuff like that inside of the ring against a guy like Nakatalia. Just things like that. And then fighting like Jamel Herring and, showing us that, wow, this guy, you know what I'm saying, he could really become somebody huge, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see, man. We'll definitely see. Devin Haney, George Kambosas, a fight that, would be a great fight for Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? WBC regular world champion Devin Haney. Will be a great fight for him, man. Fighting somebody like George Kambosas, a guy that has a lot of heart, had fire in his eyes, mandatory of Teofimo Lopez, the former undisputed lightweight world champion. George Kambosas beat Teofimo Lopez in a split decision victory at Madison Square Garden in Teofimo Lopez's hometown. To come from Australia to get a victory in another guy's hometown is a very tough task to do. But rightfully so, he got his victory. You know what I'm saying? He walked home a winner, a champion. I thought he was getting a little big-headed after that victory, doing shows all over the place. But it is marketing. It is boxing. You have to market yourself. And I feel like he marketed himself well. Did what he was supposed to, said the right things. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, I feel like, you know, whoever he picks, it should be a great fight. Granted, I just don't feel like he's skilled enough for the other guys at 135 that we have seen, like Devin Haney, um, Javante Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, or Vasily Lomachenko, and then arguably other fighters as well. But you know, it should be, hopefully a lot of these fights could start. You know what I'm saying? We could see a lot of these fights. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that these fights do come through, and we get to see these fights for sure. But other than that, man, you know, I appreciate everybody that came through, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you want to be notified. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at P4P Boxing Real News. And we out, man. Peace.